afternoon, everyone. Thank you to PCIEERD for the invitation and for the flexibility. I'm supposed to be the second reactor, but I have to take off, so they gave me the first slot. All right, what Geb shared with you is a mouthful, and I'll just jump from one topic to the other to give you my reaction on the presentation. Well, first of all, semiconductor electronics industry, yes, we represent the industry. Electronics is into everything, anything and everything. But we also partner with government and academia. For instance, well, if you just look at our membership, for example, we have about 340 members by now, and about 100 of those are the hardcore manufacturing guys. 140-ish are in the associate membership category, and they supply the products and services. And about 32 are from the academia. So we do have a lot of academic institutions that are members of SEIPI. And this is really the environment that allows us to partner with institutions, not just in Luzon, but also in Visayas and of late, even in Mindanao. All right. So the nice thing about our industry is that whenever you talk about a need, a product, we always look at it from both sides, the customer and the supplier side. Clearly, if you talk about the space industry, I guess the customer side of it, what I mean is the space industry is the space agency as a customer. That's pretty straightforward. We manufacture hardware. Okay, so whether you're talking about controllers or telescopes or drivers, we produce them, right? But the other part that's even more important is that on the supply side, of course, earlier you said that what do the satellites provide? Data. And we also need data. For example, when we talk about our roadmap and the areas that we want to get into, whether it's agriculture, disaster aversion, prevention, then the data that's provided by these satellites will also be beneficial for the industry. So what do we need then to create an environment that's right for a space industry? Well, to begin with, I guess the recognition, not just by DOST and the academe, that there is potential in such a thing as the space industry. To be honest with you, when we developed our roadmap, we didn't include the space industry. And that's our fault, right? We came up with this industry roadmap, which was funded by DTI and administered by DOST through PCIEERD. And so what it is really, because the nature of our industry is, it's skewed mostly to semiconductors. 70% of the $32.7 billion that we export are in semiconductors. And the thing about it, it's not even the front-end wafer fab. It's we import wafers and we test, assemble, and package them into integrated circuits. The 30% is divided into 8 other sectors. To name a few, we have consumer electronics, automotive electronics, telecommunications and radar, but we don't have space electronics as a sector in itself. So that's really, as I said, a recognition and an admission that we haven't really considered that seriously up until now. But 5 minutes? I'll be done before then. Besides, I have an appointment at 4:30. So one of the things that we can do, Geb was actually asking for our commitments as an industry to belly up and support this endeavor. We're there. We certainly support it. But some of the things that we'll be needing, of course, would be, how do you create an industry that's right for space, right? Space exploration, space devices, and everything. Well, Geb mentioned a few of the requirements. There's the education part. While we did talk about some of the, particular expertise, subject matters that we need to develop, there's a lot of them actually. I always I always talk about in jest, having space cadets and rocket scientists. Literally, we need rocket scientists, right? But not only that, the traditional mechanical, electronics engineers, data scientists, programmers, there's a whole slew of expertise that we need to develop in the academy. And the thing about it is that while we might say, for example, that we produce mechanical engineers and electronics engineers, the reality is when you talk about what the academy or what the universities churn out, they don't really meet what the industry needs. So that's one of the things that we need to do. What does the space industry need in terms of the specific expertise and subjects that we would need to advance the industry, right? And so the other part of that is, the government part in terms of regulations and policies. How do we make it conducive? I mean, it's nice that DOST has these programs, but, we're talking about space, we're talking about humans being sent up to space. What are the kinds of policies and procedures that support that in terms of regulatory requirements? And so, I guess what I'm saying is, she didn't flash the time anymore, is that, we need to understand what we need. We don't know what we don't know. It's nice to talk about microsatellites and, the advances that we've made, but I think we need to sit down with USEC Gev, the experts that we have today, and really draw a roadmap. I don't know if we have a roadmap already, but we need to have a roadmap that understands how we get from point 1 to point 2 and really grow this industry. And I think I'm really heartened by the fact that I see a lot of people in this room, a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of you want to be rocket scientists. That's well and good, but we have to start with the basics and understand what we need to be doing. Okay? In 1969, Neil Armstrong said what? You probably remember this, right? One small step for man, giant leap for mankind. I think we're at that first step. And again, maybe I'm being naive. There's a lot of work that's being done, but certainly we're barely scratching the surface. So from an industry perspective, what I'd like to commit is to sit down with DOST and academia, a task force, a committee, a space committee, and really understand where we're at today, what we need to do to advance the space industry for the Philippines. You have our commitment from the industry perspective. Thank you.